don't want to talk to them. So go ahead, this button is. Cool.
What were you expecting, I guess?
I was just curious. So you're actually reading the book on Chef, right? I guess. That's beautiful. And so, how much are you familiar with Chef already? I don't know, a little bit.
YouTube
videos. Did you do something with it yet, or
I'm just playing with it with Vagrant on my laptop.
In terms of using, so let's think about this DevOps concept first. By the way, I teach DevOps right here in this room. This is my classroom, except that I also have these things. So it's a shared classroom. Other teachers teach other things here, and so I get to teach this thing. I am not a professor. I am from the industry. This is my business. Nick Washington is my partner, and they license my curriculum, and they run it for me. So I have multiple programs that run here, and also multiple universities. Like in Illinois, we have Northern Illinois University in Chicago. We have NJIT in New Jersey that have licensed the curriculums from us. We have a new one coming up in Australia, University of New South Wales. And so, talking about DevOps, the idea behind DevOps is not new. It is probably like 40 or 50 years old. What's your recollection of what you're reading? What has been the recollection that you have from where did this thing start? Where did the DevOps thing start? It was not called DevOps, but it is not new. So what was it called before?
Many different things.
Sorry?
The way.
The way?
I don't remember what they call it. I read the Phoenix Project, but I don't remember what that referred to in the book referring to.
Right.
The production assembly line.
Yes. So what was the book called?
The book I read was called the Phoenix Project. I don't remember
What's the
what you
original
were talking about in there.
Right. Okay. So let's give some references here. There is this. Let me open up a browser and give you appropriate references. And the book is called The Goal. So that's the book.
There you go.
Right, this book is the one I read about 17 years ago, first time when I went to school at the University of Michigan. And this is a really good book. I mean, it has 4.5 stars, 5 stars, multiple reviews. And it's written by an Israeli professor, Eliyahu Goldratt, 1984. So when I read it, it was 1990, so a few years afterwards. But the goal is essentially a book about the goal. And so what do you think is the goal in business? What is the goal? What do we do in business?
Make money.
Make money. Make money is one goal. What else do we have? Maybe further precise, what is the exact goal in terms of purely making money is not the goal. You know why? If you go to Las Vegas, right? Have you been to Las Vegas? So you go there and there's a special machine that I like very much. You know, go to Las Vegas, put in a dollar bill, you get 4 quarters every single time. Have you seen that machine? Is that making money? Making revenue. Money comes back, but that's not the goal. The goal is to make profit, not money, right? To actually make a good return on your investment. Right? So you actually put in $1 and you get $1.10 back every year. Now that is interesting. Right? So it's about making the return on investment profitably while making positive cash flow. That's the idea. That's the goal. So this book talks about that goal. And they focus on manufacturing operations. And I used to go to school in Michigan, so it's all about manufacturing and car making and all things. So that was Ann Arbor, Michigan, when I studied. And if you remember, 40 or 50 years ago, when Toyota Motor Company, the company that makes Toyota cars, improved their production system capability so much that they were able to compete with the American car manufacturers, and American companies could not actually succeed. Do you remember the story? Do you at all?
And I didn't study it.
So the thing was called Toyota Production System, TPS. And this is one of the places where this core concept of operational improvement that we call these days, fancy names called DevOps, they come from. These are some of the origins. There are many other people, like another person by the name. So this is the Toyota Production System. I think you should be aware of and read. In fact, that whole book, if you haven't read it, please read it. It's a very short book, about 400 pages. The other thing I would like to point out is this Taichi Ono. If you heard this name before, who created the TPS essentially? This guy. So this is about 40 to 50 years ago. So 1990 he died, but he is the one who's considered to be the father of TPS. Now, if you think about this frame of reference in terms of frame of operations, how do the concepts apply to software development? Like we are talking about automotive manufacturing, how does it even relate to what we have here in software? That's the question I have for you guys. What do you think? Why am I talking about manufacturing in the context of software development? What's the connection? Any ideas? Okay, so let's put it this way. What do we make when we make software? What do we take as an input? Metal, nuts and bolts, designs, concepts, and then put together a car. Right? What do we do that? A similar thing in software development. What are the things that are flowing through our manufacturing pipeline and going to the end user? What is that thing that flows? Do you know? Who's the supplier? Who's the customer? What are we making? How does it apply? Is the question I have for you. What do you think? No response. Wow. I expect some participation, man. So speak up. Whatever comes to your mind is totally okay. Totally open. The idea that I would like to think about this thing is that when we deal with software, we are actually taking ideas and translating them into features that people want, and creating software and delivering it as a service to the end users in the cloud. So it's an idea factory where customers express their wish. I wish it was this. I wish the software did that. Or we study all these things, their wishes, their desires, their demand, because they place an order on us. Hey, give me a car. Like, sell me a new car styled like this. So they give us these wish list items. We call them feature requests in software industry, right? Do you agree?
Sure.
So these feature requests essentially form our pipeline that come into the supply chain, and our software developers, our test people, our program managers, the entire team, that manufactures these ideas, converts them into specifications, into features that get implemented and delivered to the customer in time for when they want it, is the manufacturing pipe. That in the software industry we deal with that. We are not dealing with physical objects, but we are dealing with concepts. We're taking these concepts and transferring them through our manufacturing process, through our production process, in concept, and delivering it to the customer according to what they wish, according to what they desire. Right? Does that resonate to you? So the key about making it most efficient that we can physically is to think about an analogy, a very simple analogy. Let's look at this thing. We call these blinds. So if I am setting up a manufacturing plant and putting together a large number of machines and plants and equipment and a complete system to create these blinds, and I stack them up, racks and racks of them. because that's what I do. That's my manufacturing capability, so I can deliver that to my customers whenever they want. Is it a good idea to build up, the entire pipeline of manufacturing lines and just stock them up in multiple warehouse locations worldwide? Is that a good idea to begin with, just to manufacture for the sake of manufacturing? No?
Just depends.
It depends on what.
If you're talking about use amount of money to spend, then it's not efficient.
Right. So the way to think about it when it applies to software is to ask the customer what they want, and when they want it, where they want it, and take those concepts and apply to your delivery pipeline. For example, if they want drapes, right, not blinds, then we need to be able to, in a very agile fashion, deliver to what they want, exactly what they want when they want it. Right? So these are the concepts that we apply in the frame of reference of DevOps, and use tools such as Chef or Puppet or Ansible or Salt. And so if you think about these tools that I just named, Chef being one of them, what are some of the other tools apart from Chef that you may have used or heard of as a tool that may be useful in DevOps? Like, what would you consider a tool that you can use in DevOps? What would that be?
Jenkins.
So continuous integration, continuous CI tools, version control, Git. What else? How about Outlook or email? Is that a tool for DevOps? How about?
I think it's much broader than DevOps.
Yes. Yes.
But then a computer, is that a tool for DevOps?
Potentially, yes. So everything, and anything that helps you streamline your operational delivery towards the customer in the most efficient manner by ensuring that there is collaboration happening among the team members that are making things that the customers want. Anything that applies to that is a tool that can help you in DevOps. So DevOps is not the tool. DevOps is the concept of making it happen for the customer, for the end user who wants your products, your services. And yes, Chef comes in, all along, and we teach Chef right here in multiple locations, primarily because it helps you automate or optimize. So I think from both of you, I heard that you're primarily interested in Chef. So we should focus our further discussion not in generic concepts, but specifically about Chef, to be specific. And with that, I would like to change my discussion towards actually using the tool. Is that interesting? Or is that more interesting than just broad discussions? Okay, cool. So let's switch. So if you've seen the simple concept that Chef uses, like Chef has three broad software applications. One is the Chef client. One is the Chef server. What's the third one? Have you used it? It's called Chef Solo. It doesn't require the server. It works on its own.
Actually, they're going to deprecate Solo as soon as the features get complete.
Yes, they will.
So it's going to be local mode.
Yeah, the name will change, concept remains the same, right? You don't require the server. Right? The idea persists. In fact, the idea would be that you don't have to have a server in order for you to run and make use of Chef. And so the idea where Chef comes into play essentially is that you want to create a repeatable blueprint of your entire architecture and apply it to some cloud environment and maintain it automatically and keep adding your feature sets, keep adding your features that customers require of you incrementally as your team develops it, and automatically gets pushed towards the customer based on what they are pulling from you. So in order for us to be able to implement such a thing, you can use Chef or Ansible or Puppet. But talking about Chef, do you have experience of using Chef on a local mode or solo mode already?
Very briefly.
Okay. Do you have experience of using Chef client and server in a combination? Do you have those Chef server accounts already? for us to use? No. Okay. Okay. So what I want to illustrate to you is maybe an example. I'll take up an example, and let me come up with something. So a typical person who has a business may want to have a blog, some kind of a web blog. And if you think about blogging as an application platform, as a CMS platform, the most popular application that comes to mind is WordPress. People use WordPress all the time. And if taking that as an example, if we try to put together a package containing your recipes, your roles, and apply to a specific node in the cloud, what we want as an outcome from the cloud, in terms of we want the cloud to be provisioned itself so that it can accept WordPress as a deployment. If that's the outcome that the customer wants, I'd like to demonstrate to you an example where I would take a machine raw from some provider, just basic machine bare bones, and run a repository that I have that enables that particular instance in the cloud and make it ready for WordPress, meaning it will have all the ingredients needed to make it ready to accept WordPress as an application software. So for example, if you think about the classic LAMP stack, right? You have Linux, you have Apache, you have MySQL, you have PHP, and these are the classic elements needed to enable you're familiar with this concept, are you? And some variations to these are that some people have modified the stack itself, and they prefer, instead of Apache, some people prefer Nginx. You've seen that some people prefer, instead of PHP, they prefer the other package of PHP. You've seen those, have you? This kind of configuration is called LEMP stack, where E stands for Nginx. So just a made-up name. Instead of LAMP, they call it LEMP, where this E actually comes from this missing E. And so what I would like to do is maybe go to a company where they give us some instances in the cloud. So I'll go to this provider. It's called DigitalOcean. Familiar with that? You heard of this? Yeah. So this company gives you is it still projecting properly or
no? It's on your video.
I think I clicked. Yeah, I think I clicked something. Yeah. Yeah, it's projecting now, I guess. Okay.
I see it here, but not on the screen.
It's doing something. Not connect. Okay, came back.
There we go.
Yeah. So in this company that gives us, this is very similar to the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, where you get cloud instances. These guys will give you machines with SSD enabled at a very low price. Pricing here is pretty darn interesting. That's why I like them.
It's not turned on Hangouts, so you want Hangouts. Yes, your camera instead of your screen. Yeah, there we go. We got it on Hangouts now.
So here, if you look at these pricing, it's pretty darn competitive, even better than Amazon in certain cases, where you can get an SSD-based machine for $5 a month. So my idea would be to illustrate this point of using Chef and setting up the LEMP, or the stack that one can deploy WordPress on top of, in a fashion that is almost like one line command. You deploy the entire capabilities you need to enable that particular software in this particular droplet that we get from. I'm proposing we get this droplet right now. So I'm going to log in here and sign on to get one droplet right now. Get the IP address from there. So I'll create a new droplet. I'll call this one, let's call it meetup. And select the default OS that we have and add a key to it. You see, you understand what I'm doing, right? Do you? Creating machine and then creating the droplet. So in return, we'll get an IP address and access to that machine on a terminal, on SSH. It takes about 30 seconds to get the machine ready, and then we'll have an IP address. We'll use that IP address and the key that we already have chosen to apply chef to it and make that machine ready for LEMP. And I'll demonstrate that. It should take like 5 minutes for us to finish up the whole thing, not too long. That will give you an idea of how one can potentially use these capabilities in terms of making a repeatable process of provisioning machines for a given specific application set that you might have. So a few more seconds and this should be ready. Let's see if you have an IP address. Yes, we do, but the machine is not booted yet. So we'll go examine the status. It is active now, which means I can go and SSH. So let us SSH. And this should let us in. And it is doing something. And it did. So now here we have just the bare bones box. We have nothing. Like we do not have Apache installed. We don't even want it. We want Nginx, right? So let's see. We have Nginx here. No. We have a MySQL. No. We have PHP, FPM. No, we do not have any of these things. So we understand these things. It's just a bare bones box right now, and we clear out, come out of it. And the next thing that I have in this particular folder, which is a repository with pre-configured methods, including your role definitions, your data bags for passwords for MySQL database, your cookbooks for Nginx, cookbooks for PHP, cookbook for MySQL, cookbook for other updates that are needed to make the machine ready for LEMP are all already included in that folder. That looks something like this. If you can look at the left column, you will see the cookbook folder. Kind of hard to see, but believe me, there's a cookbooks folder, there's a data bag folder, environments that describes the environment, and a folder to describe the roles, and specifically calling out the node. So I have created this particular configuration file where I'm setting up a given MySQL password. I'll be using this set of passwords for MySQL database and inject them along with the cookbook itself to make the machine ready with MySQL and basically get the machine up and running and ready for my software deployment. So that's my intention. And having clarified that, I will come here back to my command prompt and actually bootstrap that machine out there in the cloud. And here I'm using Chef Solo. And as simple as this command, which is knife solo bootstrap. Come on, sir.
This is the chef thing?
Yes, sir. Come on in.
Don't plan it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Take 4 or 5 here. You can't get here.
I know. Please come. Gracias.
7 p.m. at least.
7?
Yes.
Start at 7.
What?
Should we start next time at 7?
Where do you drive here from? Do you live around the corner?
Yes.
Ah, well, unfortunately, those of us who might be in Seattle or in Bellevue.
I know. I understand. I understand. Yeah, it's good feedback. Next time we'll edit. Next time the unannounced meetups we'll edit as the people want. Grab a seat. So the idea here is that I'm going to invoke Chef Solo and a collection of cookbooks, data packs, and I'll walk you through. But let's start this process. What this is going to do is, let's run it. It's going to bootstrap the machine, install Chef onto that target machine, and that's what it's doing right now. So let's make it a bit bigger so people can see it properly. And so here, it installed Chef from ops code, this link. And now it is uploading my entire kitchen. And in my kitchen, I have cookbooks, I have data bags, I have. You have a question, sir?
I'm totally lost. I missed the first 25 minutes.
Right. It is recorded for you, so you can watch it later.
Thank you.
And the kitchen is being uploaded. And this kitchen upload essentially contains all the cookbooks, the data bags, the role definitions, and all the things that I have specified, like the MySQL password, for example. And then once the kitchen gets uploaded, Chef Solo will actually execute on that location, on the target droplet, and start running it like this. So it ran it. It is started to run, and you'll find that it is loading specific things that we want it to do. Like right now, it's MySQL client being installed. Now, library MySQL client dev being installed. So lots of things as scripted, as provided in the cookbook itself, will get configured, and the machine becomes ready in say about 2 or 3 minutes more. It's installing MySQL server, action install, and let's see if it'll finish it off. This should finish off in about 3 more minutes. Doesn't take that long. First time is 3 minutes, next time it's a few seconds, because there's nothing much to do when you repeat run it. Installing Nginx, PHP 5 FPM for MySQL, total package, and it's done. It succeeded installing and restarting all these services for us in about 61 seconds. So let's go connect back to that machine now with SSH and see what we have. And we'll see that we have Nginx, yes. PHP, yes. And MySQL is also there. In fact, if you can go back to my password, I'll go copy the password from my data bag and say MySQL, MySQL -p, and then type the password, and I'm inside MySQL. So it's pre-configured, ready to go. You understand what I just did? Good. I didn't have to go and set up my database. I chose my password outside, even before starting the machine. And it took my configuration, all my details, properly provisioned the machine for me just the way I want. And all I need to do now is drop my application, and I'm good to go. Right? And the process is very repeatable, meaning I can just go back here, go to meetup, that machine which I have, and just decide to destroy that machine for fun. There we go. And do it again. I mean, all it takes is a few minutes. Once you've got it right, and so if you want to do the same thing over thousands of machines, all it takes is a few minutes. Once you have it up and running in the way you want it, you can pass it off to another person. They can produce the exact same environment that you would expect them to have. Makes it repeatable. So the key idea behind DevOps is something that you should remember. These are golden words given to me by my professor, but the DevOps word was not coined.
So when you're creating machines based off of, or accounts off of the passwords, is there industry practice of how to secure those passwords?
Yes. So this is a local file. Like this password that I have, this is a local file. It is in my laptop.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it is secure. I mean, nobody's hacking my laptop. Hope.
But if you were storing this this recipe or what in
This particular item doesn't get committed.
Oh, this is
No. You keep it private. And so the thing I'm showing you is actually a dummy password, right? Your secret secure root password. That's not how I write passwords. But this is a dummy. So the idea that I'm trying to describe to you is that you keep secure items private. Keep secret. Don't check it into a Git commit. Don't push it. Don't share unnecessarily. Share only when you need to with your teammates.
What about in the case where, say, you're provisioning servers, provisioning different types of servers, like your application server needs to have a password and a connection string to get to your database instance that has to be on that server somewhere. Is there a concept of encrypted data bags?
Yes.
And then how do you get it over there and then somehow undo it with the unencrypt it with a different password that you get over there somehow?
I'll maybe give you an example. So here is how you do it. We have an example of encrypted data bags also, not in this repository, but data bags can be encrypted with your own method of encryption. So you provide your encryption key, you encrypt your data bag, and then once it is encrypted, you can then pass on the data bag item to, say, Chef, the company who's providing you a Chef server. And since it is encrypted and you hold the encryption key yourself, it's reasonably expected and okay to share that data bag encrypted. And so you can totally enable that. The environment and the open source product that we have, which is Chef, enables that. If you're using your own Chef server, even better. It's your own. If you're using a third party, like the vendor provided Chef server, you can encrypt the data bag and use it. Now, when a connection string comes into play, that example file would be some kind of a configuration file associated with the application, and the file needs to be sitting on the server or the droplet, wherever in the cloud. It needs to sit there, that's expected. But that particular file is chmod 400, most cases, right? You know this command?
Yeah.
It's very secured out, or even on the remote location. So you can configure these permissions as you write that file remotely on that machine. And it's the application design point. The application expects a particular file, like a settings file, to be in a specific location with a specific user's authorization to read, like this 400. And so you can meet those requirements of the application by configuring it that way. Right?
Yeah, sometimes that's not enough, but.
Yeah, if the application developer says, I want it that way, then you don't have a choice but to do it that way, because they are the application developers, right? So WordPress has this method of, like, since we're talking about WordPress, they have a configuration file called, what's it called? wp-config.php, right? That's the file. And so this is the exact file that they want in that root location for the application. And there is no negotiation going on. I mean, that's what they want. So you have to do it. And you have to do it this way. Whatever developers tell you in WordPress, they decide what they want, in what file they want, what permissions they want, and you have to follow that. If you don't do that, the application will not work. As simple as that. Right?
Okay.
So you spawn, okay, I'm trying to catch up quick. I spawn a new machine.
Yes.
In the cloud. And it's an image that knows that the first thing it's going to do is run Chef.
No, it doesn't know anything. You have to tell that, hey, I would like you to provision yourself with Chef. The machine has no idea what it wants to become when it grows up.
Yes. So who tells the machine?
You.
You ran a command, right, when you were getting here, that extracted from Chef and the local machine.
So I launch the
Sends it out there,
machine.
sends his cookbooks out there and runs them.
So I launch the machine, then I log into it.
No.
And run Chef.
No,
No, you run Chef locally and tell it, do Chef on this machine out here.
Here's how you do
This
it.
key.
Here's how you do it. Let's do it again.
And the key's the root password.
No, key is not the root password. Key is the key.
RSA key that.
So this is the command I ran when you just arrived. This was the thing I started off when you first entered the room.
Okay.
And in this command sequence, it says knife solo. If I read this language in English language, it will say something like this: "Hey knife, run in solo mode and bootstrap that box."
Okay.
That's what it says.
Bootstrap all the way from loading the AMI, the operating system?
Bootstrap has a specific meaning in the context of Chef, which has nothing to do with booting the OS.
So
Because the OS is already booted.
The assumption is that the cloud system launched a particular OS image. And once
You
that's-
don't even have to assume that. In fact, through knife tools, you can even start a machine by saying knife, EC2, server, create, and do these things. And by the way, when you create, also bootstrap. So in one shot, you can do the whole thing.
Through the API, either through DigitalOcean or AWS or
Yes.
Google, or if it was local, you could take cboot or whatever, and you can script all that too.
So
Right?
if the machine was launched due to load as part of by the cloud system,
When you say load, what do you mean?
well,
Elastic
there's you know,
If you were to put parameters in and say, my load gets over this spawn.
my
20
CPU
noise.
hits this point.
So auto scaling.
Spawning the machine.
Auto scaling.
So
Yes, you can. When it is auto scaling, you're probably cloning images. And you're using the existing ready images and just scaling them as fast as you can.
okay.
In case of auto scaling, you're not provisioning when it's
So
auto
you're
scaling or
talking,
scaling
so
down.
it's saying basically create an image with all the things that
Yeah,
Chef
you
might launch.
create. So if you're building a golden image, you need to know how you build the image, and that's where Chef comes into play. When you create your own golden images, as opposed to relying on somebody else's, because you don't know what they did with it, how they built it for you, you have no idea. So you begin from almost scratch with just the bare bones and build it up exactly the way you want. And the tools will help you in enabling a repeatable procedure to build your images and keep improving your golden image standards, whatever standards you develop every month. This is the new goal for this month.
So Chef would let me configure and set up something which I could then make a new AMI from,
Yes.
and then that's what I'd ask AWS to launch based upon.
Yes. On case of load balancing and scaling up or scaling out, you can use that image that you customize and you create, but you need to know what image what it contains. It needs to contain your application, right?
Okay. Absolutely.
What question do you have?
Well, it sounds like you don't really want to be using Chef every time you launch a machine, only to help you have a defined and repeatable process for building an image with the right things.
Yes, yes. You need to know what you're doing. That's the summary. If you have some application, some business goal, you have some application to deliver against that goal, you need to know what exactly goes in building your application stack from end to end, from bare metal all the way to the end user.
Sorry, interrupted.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So let me ask you, how do you use Chef today?
I don't use Chef today, but I'm setting up an OpenStack configuration. Looking to learn, teach myself.
Right. So we do teach Chef right here in this room. We have a workshop coming up on 28th of this month. We have a session of 8-week long program starting February 23rd. That's something that you're interested, let me know. It's going to be this room, this location right here.
That one does start at 7.
Yeah, Yeah, it starts the class that repeats.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4.
4 starts at 4. 4 through 7. Is that so? You have what was the thinking behind it? Is that not convenient timing at all, or?
For some people it won't, but
I see.
I mean, not considering taking it, so.
Yeah. But
It's just kind of funny that he's
I know,
more
he-
interested in the later time. He said, oh wait, no, it's actually 3 hours earlier than that. So
3 hours
that's
earlier
what
than
made me
7.
laugh.
That makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Let's do this way. If you had a full-time, if you had a
We have a-
full-time
we have
job,
a-
you wouldn't be able to.
We have a full day workshop also on 28th, which is Saturday. That may be of interest, depending on what you're interested. But in the workshop will be hands-on. We begin from nuts and bolts of chef components and take it to build up something more.
See how far we get in the next few weeks.
Yeah. How do you use this?
I haven't used it, and I'm learning. Just seeing it feel for what it is.
Why chef?
Chef and Puppet are the 2 things I've heard out from the industry.
Yes,
So
extremely popular.
I want to get a little idea of Chef, and then assuming that at some point in the future I'll get a little idea of Puppet as well. So.
Yeah, they're very similar, both of them. Very similar in concept.
You know, is, so, and then this cloud foundry,
Yes.
and so for the
It's-
real question is, so if I can only take the time to learn one,
So Cloud Foundry is not going to be a tool like configuration management. It's more like a ready-made platform. It's Heroku. Think of it like Heroku. You know what Heroku is?
no, I know Sudoku, but I don't know.
No, Heroku is maybe the evil twin. I don't know. Just kidding. But Heroku is a platform where you can take your applications and just deploy over there. So they will build such a thing like I just did for you. You don't have to do it.
Okay.
And so you take if you're a Rails developer, you take your Rails application and just say Heroku. So git push Heroku master. It goes live right there. Same thing with CF push. And you will deploy your Rails application to a Cloud Foundry instance. Same concept.
And all these things are constant, in a rapid state of change.
They are not. They are very stable. The concepts are very clear and they're not new. They just sound fancy. And people make it.
Somebody tell me the difference between Chef and Puppet.
Let me say that it is the same thing, except the language is a little bit different in Puppet.
The way they handle
The concept is very same, very similar. It doesn't even matter what you use, honestly. Unless like if you are already using Chef, then you would probably not switch. But both are open source products. Both are from our area. I mean, one is Oregon, one is Seattle. So they are our neighbors. They are our products. Your products. You own them.
No, I don't.
You do. It's community.
I just looked at my investments. I don't own anything that's with
It's
Chef.
open source community products.
Yeah, but I guess I've been a techie for a lot of years. Okay, a lot of years. I go back to doing operating system development on mini computers. Okay, and I'm most focused on solving a problem in the quickest and the best way. That's why I asked about which one. Okay. Plus, there's only so many hours in the day. If I'm going to experiment with something, repeat myself, something, I just figure out.
And the way I started using this Chef thing, I've been doing it for quite some years. When Chef started building up in our region, I've been using it since then. The way I looked at it is what programming language I already like. And that's how I started. So I like Ruby, and I started in that direction. Both Puppet and Chef are Ruby. I mean, Puppet is Ruby-like, and Chef is pure Ruby.
Puppet had its own.
It's getting less and less. The PDL is going further and further away from Ruby.
So if you're interested, you stick to a language you know, and then speak that language, and then you select your product.
Quick and dirty, you look at like an Ansible or something where it's
Yeah, Ansible
less
is
language
nothing dirty
involved.
about it. Nothing dirty about it.
So that's another product in the same niche?
Yeah, it's
So we have Ansible, we
less
have
structured,
Puppet, Salt,
less
Chef,
mature, but
Babushka.
faster to get going.
I can rattle off a long list if you want,
Well-
but it's pointless. That's why I said, think about a language you like and stick to that.
I'll do about the same things. There's not one that's really far and away the best. There's just some that are bad that people don't use anymore, and some that are good at the forefront now. Safe Engine. Just don't want to use it anymore because it's outdated now, but it's not keeping up with technology.
But, if you look at the meetups, let's look at like JavaScript frameworks, right? Meteor, Angular, tons of them. It's like, look how they'll learn all of them.
So you don't have to. I think when you're talking about JavaScript frameworks, you don't have to learn all of them. Just pick two, maybe one. Start somewhere and stick to your language.
Take both of them. Put cloud boxes up. Pick 10 things you want to do. Say, well, I want to change your root password. I want to deploy this app, or I want to manage this thing, and just learn enough just to do it. 10 things in each one, and go, well, which one took me longer to learn? Which one was more clunky? Which one was more intuitive? And just, okay, well, maybe that one's good. That's how I'm trying to do it work.
So do you program already in Ruby?
No, actually, Ruby is not one of the things that
What is your language apart from English?
I have programmed in machine languages for a number of machines and chips. I have programmed in Fortran, COBOL, PL1. We're going historically, okay?
So what is your current language? Let's put it this way. Like, what do you speak today?
Well, I program it. I'm trying to do things with JavaScript.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Then I go to a meeting, a bunch of people will say, oh, you want to go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
You don't want to use JavaScript, you want to use Go.
That's right. Honest.
And it's like,
It is what is new and fancy, right? Everybody wants to do something fancy, something different, and you should stick to what you like. As you know,
it's like,
Oh yeah, technology just coming out of everywhere.
The fights between the Mac and the PC people. Now you do everything right if you become machine independent.
that's right. Yeah.
And when I worked at Oracle, at least the nice thing was all the tools ran
In Java.
Linux, Windows, Mac OS. There's three of us sitting next to each other, we each have a different laptop OS to do things, run the same tools. That's,
So even I was at Oracle, I was at Siebel long time ago, which is 2000. And so those days I did not program at Oracle because I was marketing. What do you expect an MBA student to do?
see, you're ruined by being a marketing person.
I know, I have done sales, I've done marketing, I've done hardcore hardware development, software development, all these aspects. I've EMC, Microsoft, I've made Link, Link, how do you LYNC, Link. That is my baby. So Windows Server, heard of it?
Yeah, Windows service I've had played with, not recently. Done full Linux.
Linux is good. I've been
Except for
using
Windows,
Linux.
some Windows clients because the applications are more.
I've been using Linux ever since Linux started. This is probably 21 years now. So when Linus Torvalds published his kernel, I remember that when I was in India that time.
Well, you probably picked it for the same reasons that I did.
Oh.
You did the Microsoft license fees.
Back in India it was MS-DOS, and we had it in school. I was in school at that time. and I was reading Carnegie and Ritchie and
Yep.
all the basic stuff. I've written compiler for a compiler for OCaml. You know what a compiler is?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I used to do
I
in
go back long
1990.
enough that I've actually built tools based on Kerrigan and Plogger's books,
Right.
and actually got them to autograph
Nice.
some stuff. Well, I was at a
Andrew
student
Hannon
conference
books
in
yeah.
Vegas, and the guy was in front of me in line. So. Anyway, so why don't we go forward now?
So I would like to understand what your interest is. I can go that
My
direction.
interest in Chef is I'm looking to understand the tools necessary to go from hardware up to being able to deploy a web-based application.
You saw a demo, and I would suggest beginning from a point of taking baby steps, like learning a language. And there is Ruby as a language I would suggest that you begin. There is a one-page HTML that I will point you to, and it reads this. It's coming up.
I have books on Ruby,
No, just one page.
but
Not talking about books, talking about one page.
it's like the Zen of programming. Who wants to learn yet another language?
This is one page I would like you to study.
Oh, just enough Ruby for Chef.
That's it. This is just enough Ruby for Chef. So I would strongly suggest this reading one page. That's it, this page. And you should be able to get started with Chef. I'm not kidding. This is not that complex a page. It's very short actually, think about it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting you read a book. Not the entire book. Begin here. You will, the next time we meet, you will actually do something meaningful with Chef, with me, in this room. Next time we are meeting again. Right? When are we meeting? Probably 2 weeks down the road or something. So we have,
Chef 2 or something.
yeah, we have part 2 of this same session where we build it up again.
All right.
So I would suggest you bring a laptop next time, and please, if you can come at 6, that'll be nice, because I cannot change the announce date. It has been announced. So come early, bring a laptop,
Just leave at 4:30.
or don't leave, live here. I'm just joking. But you can read this. I think it can help. Yeah, it will totally help. It's just one page I'm suggesting you read and begin. That's the way to begin. That's how I began. While ago, not recently, but about 6 years ago, I've been using Chef since it started.
Yeah.
So begin here. This is the beginning point. And the documentation site is fairly extensive. And the best way to configure it is actually using Vagrant that you have already. And do you know what Vagrant is? The last time I spoke about Vagrant, did you join?
Vagrant? I think those are the guys who come to the car in town.
There you go, almost got it done.
What does that? I did not get the joke.
A vagrant.
It's sliding for a homeless person. That handles.
Yes, the name is Vagrant, and there's a reason why that's the name. But they're the same meaning, exact same meaning, the same spelling. It's a product, open source.
Yeah.
That's a very good one for you to start using
To
learning Chef.
Spin up virtual machines locally.
Without
So
having
I can
to-
have on my laptop, I can set it up so that I kick off the Chef run and it spins up a virtual machine. Has Chef integration into it, runs all the Chef recipes, cookbooks, or whatever on it, runs it, shows me the output, and I can Chef. So you can test your code.
It's a virtual machine engine.
Use VirtualBox or VMware.
VirtualBox.
So I use VirtualBox underneath it, and it just
Here's how I do it.
organizes it, and downloads the templates and brings it up to channel.
Have you used VirtualBox itself?
Yes.
Being an Oracle employee, yes.
The price was also a factor. I got involved where they were, once they acquired
I really like
VirtualBox. Once they got VirtualBox in Oracle, they had all these sales demo systems built on VMware. And I got involved in shifting a whole class of them into VBox
Nice.
and finding out what it didn't have that the virtual VMware had.
So what is Vagrant? Is a Ruby wrapper around VirtualBox. Let's think it that way. So put a Ruby wrapper around VirtualBox, and that's what we call Vagrant. So what you can do is through Ruby, configure VirtualBox to do whatever you want it to do. Start up, load a machine, run share, do this, do that. Kill yourself.
Okay.
That also, right?
So that's a
Create yourself, kill yourself, do the whole thing.
Vagrant's here and then Chef's down here. It's all right. I'm learning.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
frankly, as I'm learning about Chef this evening, I'm thinking of all systems I had to configure to get Oracle applications working, like the brief we had. I'm thinking, geez, why didn't I know about this tool? I could have been standard script and got customers set up in a day. Then, of course, they would change the products underneath it. They usually have extra script that work for
Job security.
No,
Scripts for
it's
the
not
new-
job
for the new
security. We're trying to
products.
get a new customer up and running and taking weeks.
So we have another meetup coming up right in this room location, and that is the part 2. And it is 19th.
And I'll leave home extra early.
Yes. And in fact, I have had 3 phone calls already. People are leaving from Tacoma, and he's now online. I can see him. He started driving and said, it's only 1 hour. I said, no, it's not 1 hour. By the time you reach here, it'll be over. And so he said, okay, I'm going back. And so I joined online. And so that is...
And that shows that I wasn't that smart because I could have gotten online. In the comfort of my own lab.
So we have this one coming up, the workshop coming up, and a class not posted here, but from 23rd. That's probably not convenient for you. The timing doesn't work.
Which?
The class runs here on Focus on DevOps, starts March 23rd.
Okay.
So 8-week long program.
That was one day. Saturday.
This is just 1-day workshop. The class is different. It runs here, actually. If you look at the Lake Washington website,
Not available. Have we done something?
you must be the culprit, I guess.
Well, I'm infamous over the years.
Yeah. So Lake Washington, I did not put a www. So they should have auto forwarding, but
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. So here is the program that we run. This certificate program is starting 23rd. You can click the enroll button, and that will give you specific dates on the DevOps program starts.
$2,000.
And it is right here in this room, starts 23rd.
What?
I want the company to pay for that one.
Yeah, companies pay
If I
for it.
wasn't in the consultant.
And companies do pay for it. Microsoft, Boeing, Expedia, AT&T,
That's what you write
T-Mobile.
off.
It's a function of revenue. And attending class, it impacts revenue.
It was Chef.
Not to mention your patients to
Free
take
up for a lot more work.
Not devaluing the class. I just spent over $2,500 to get the AWS courses.
Where do you work?
I work for myself.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I understand. Awesome. Me too. And it's a good thing. I admire people who do that.
It's a good thing, but it's also very stressful and challenging. I've just been doing it for 15 years, pretty much. Well, except for it's like a couple of years going over to Oracle. The economy. But, yeah. So, anyway, so I stopped you here. You must be more to this evening's.
No, it's only 6 to 7.
I know, but I stopped you at 6:30. Surely there was another half hour that I've interfered with.
It's okay. what I suggest is that you do that part that I described to you, which is
Okay.
just an approval for Chef, and let's meet. And next time we meet with a laptop.
Okay.
Where is that thing? Do you need a link for this?
No,
Can I get your name, sir?
Bernard Chester. I'm signed.
Yeah, I think you signed it. I saw your name. Cool. Thank you. And sorry it took you so long to drive and all that.
Me too.
But
But I got to see a number of emergency vehicles go past me and everything.
ouch, ouch.
Apparently, people who live in Seattle don't know how to drive in the rain.
Think about snow. Think about all these Indians and Chinese.
I think about all these people who moved here from California, that's what it is. Or
I don't
something.
think so.
I'm
I
just
drive the range just fine.
How long have you been here?
Hmm?
How long have you been here?
8 years. Looking for that one.
You work at NOA, is that the name of the workplace?
It's an acronym.
What does this mean?
Nintendo of America.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I used to play Nintendo quite a bit. Yeah, I don't play anymore. I don't have time to play. I play with Chef instead. It's also equally interesting, except there is no Mario. But I should create a Mario character.
You know, they make good game systems, so I don't have any. And multiple player online stuff.
Yes, so there are multiplayer offline gaming. These companies are using Chef, by the way. They're contributing to Chef. What's the name of the League of Legends? Have you heard of them?
Right.
Riot Gaming. They are contributing to Chef big time these days. They're using Chef also quite a bit. And so that is something that, in fact, product I just used, the kitchen upload thing that I described to you, is that person's contribution. It's called Workshops. Workshop. So Workshop is the product, open source again, that helps you manage your cookbooks.
Ah, okay, yet another two.
Oh,
It's not so much a separate, I mean, it just ties right in.
I
It's
think-
just installed as a gem and it's.
you don't have to, so the way I think about it, that if you, the more you hear about these fancy words, they throw you off. I would rationalize these things in terms of what do they do for me and how do I make use of them. Otherwise, you just get lost in this alphabet.
I stated that's my
Well, you every day you find some new word. What do you do with it? What can this thing do for me?
Oh, you start a job and a month later they change technologies. You gotta adapt.
Right. And so the way I suggest is don't discount the fancy aura factor of every word you hear in the technology industry. But think, what can that thing do for me? And how do I make it to use for my life, my work?
The niche that Chef is in, I'm trying to figure out. This is the one. So, do that, I gotta spin it, right?
I would not think like this. And so it's not, so don't throw darts. Think
No,
rationally.
Understand something, okay? I'm not criticizing Chef, okay, but I don't know how to compare it in this, the solution space. That's all.
There's a good Wikipedia article that goes through tons of different ones, different software in the space and says little metrics about what language they're based on, how they work client server, whether it's secure, whether they run what platform and stuff. Good starting point.
It's the
Configuration management software.
Something like that.
thanks.
Configuration management software comparison or
I'm
something
learning
like
every
that.
minute here. Sincerely. You know, it's
I think the biggest thing to remove is fear from here.
to you.
Yeah, fear. The fear of words. I
Either
used to be
you're
afraid.
the wrong one or that you're
Right.
not doing the best choice.
You just gotta pick one. Just pick one and start.
This is not a fear issue, it's an investment issue.
Yeah, it's
Either one would
You're
be
wasting
just.
your time.
fear of wasting time, fear of risk.
Getting into something and then realizing,
You
no,
know,
that's no
it's
good, and you gotta
buying a
restart.
stock, you do it for a research, investigation,
If you're losing money on it,
and then you make a choice.
if you're wasting your time.
And as my broker says, where the hell did you hear of these people? Your stock is up 20%.
The best way to cut that fear factor. It's not that fear as an threat of something, is to just begin. And I strongly suggest reading this one page. I'm not kidding. Right? Would you agree?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just simplest possible start to get you somewhere. And there's no string attached. It's open source. It's yours. Take it.
So now I've already picked up enough to know that if next Monday, because I'm busy this weekend, hackathon, I can go and take Vagrant and Chef and Ruby and put it on a laptop and start it.
Yeah.
This is very useful.
So here, I'll give you a quick demo on Vagrant. I might have it ready.
Following they have examples exactly how to do it. The first 5 chapters. So just came out. But as it works, Chef wrote it.
Let's see if I have a Vagrant demo for
This
you.
is how you do it. Download Vagrant. Do this. Do it.
The Vagrant is super easy, and Vagrant is so much fun.
Yeah, it takes a while to download.
Yeah.
That's what the high-speed pipes are for.
Yeah. So you download your machine images.
Yeah.
So you just have to there.
Do it at work. Use the company's been.
Yep. Or
Work
podcast.
used to be a bedroom in my house. Okay. It's got,
Does it have good internet access? That's the question.
yes.
Well, then you're good.
So here is a Vagrant
The
example.
highest speed that you can get from.
You interested in Vagrant?
Comcast. Sure.
So this is a Vagrant file,
Okay.
pre-configured. It's written in Ruby. Not too long. It's only like 36 lines. And most of it is ready-made, given to you when you start Vagrant.
Doesn't even look like a programming language, it just looks like
It's Ruby.
description.
It is Ruby.
Like, it's just, JSON.
So let us run it. All you do is Vagrant up, and you have a Linux box running. The Linux box will show up in VirtualBox. Right now, I have, what do I have?
But you already did a Vagrant install, correct?
Yeah, Vagrant is already installed. VirtualBox is installed, and a bunch of other things are installed. But I'm going to start a new machine through Ruby language, and it will show up here in the list. There are 2 right now. Third one will pop up. That's how you use Vagrant. Third one pops like this.
You know, it's easy when somebody knows has experience shows it to you.
Right.
But, I'll see if on my way home if I can stop in Barnes and Nobles and get.
And so here, third guy comes up. Machine created, configured, and it will prepare itself for me the way I want it. And then I'm done. It takes a long time to configure, but then it's a complex application.
But now that it's driven by a scripted solution, you can make 6 of them.
True. 100 of them.
Identical.
100 of them.
I don't want that many confused.
At the last chef meetup, a guy was showing me this, and this is what got me to put this book and start doing it. He said, well, let's say I want to test it on 3 different OSs, like CentOS 6.5, I want to test it on Ubuntu 14, whatever, Unique Unicorn or whatever their really code word is, and say, I don't know, Red Hat 5.5 or something. So he had a description file that said, for these 3 different OSs, test my code on all 3 of them, and you hit go, and it spun up a Vagrant image for one, started testing the code, put that in the background, spun up a second one, started testing this code on that OS, on a different OS, spun up a third one, all 3 at the same time going through his code, and in the little screen he had, it was like different colored text based on which host the output was coming from. I don't know how I managed to handle that, but it's something in the background, like red text means it's the CentOS box, and yellow means it's
a shell.
and it just shoot by. Right, I know it's a character sequence for that, but somehow it coordinated that when the output came out, it just all put it in the same terminal window in different colors based on which host the output was coming from, running the chef recipes on it. So he was doing all 3 regression tests of his code, his recipes on there.
3 different OSs.
3 different OSs all at the same time, 2-3 minutes later, like, yeah, they all passed.
They all pass and you're done. Damn, I'm sold. And Chef actually will do the grunt work for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
That's impressed.
The way Chef is written, it is almost agnostic to the underlying OS. You don't have to tell.
Oh, I figured that.
If you read the code for Chef, you read example that if Ubuntu do this, if Red Hat do this, it's already done for you. Most of the work, grunt work is taken care of. In fact, the community, our open source community has contributed cookbooks after cookbooks ready for you to just pick and choose and use.
All your problems are basically solved in the past by other people. You just have to find them.
That's right. Finding.
Change them a tiny bit to match your exact.
That's right. And like you saw the example of a data bag where I have put my password in a specific location, then it configures itself. I don't have to now worry about, how do I configure and script out MySQL root password? Don't have to worry about it. Put that in a specific configuration modification and use the MySQL cookbook, and off I go. Ready.
Start off with several V boxes and running different things in each one. And script it, and if it doesn't work quite right, I can come back.
Finish your code, fill those up, start them.
So Vagrant starts the V boxes, and then we use Chef to kick off the stuff inside. It's real sweet.
So let's meet again.
Yeah.
And try that just enough Ruby for Chef, and let's do some hands-on next time. Thank you, guys.
Okay, that you miss the guys I worked with a few years ago at Cohort.
Okay, we're going to stop the broadcast.
On the 17th, over